Hey everybody, Michael Fielding here with the Free Academy with another Christianity talk. So, if you're gonna get offended or sad or upset to learn that the religion you practice is wrong, turn off the video. Now, for the rest of you who have a little bit of courage and want to know the truth, want to explain why I'm doing this. It might seem like I just want to piss people off for no good reason. And it's not, unfortunately, for the argument against me, that's not the case. It's literally because I love you, and I want you to spend your time wisely. And I want you to break free from these ancient chains that have misled people for generation and generation to do nothing with their lives. Well, that's not fair, but to go to church every Sunday and repeat the same old lines when really we should be investigating the universe, this beautiful place God created for us, and y'all want to stick your heads in the sand and read ancient stories that make no sense? Okay, so, spend your time wisely. There is a huge gamble going on. I am risking my eternal damnation. I am so sure the Bible is bullshit that I'm willing to risk going to hell forever after I die. And what I'm betting, and what I'm hoping you guys will consider, is that you're risking your mortal lives. If you believe in Christianity, if you go to church every Sunday, if you read the Bible and you teach your kids that, and you, whatever, give money to the church, you're risking a lifetime wasted. And I'm saying it's the only one. So you're risking your only decades, your only maybe 10 decades, and I'm risking eternity. So, it's fair, what's it called, Pascal's wager. You know, I am putting more on the line, but I'm more confident in my belief system than I think most Christians. I think most Christians are just going through the motions because it's easy to blend in and be a sheep and just repeat the party lines and everyone accepts you and you don't cause any trouble and so we all get along. But you're risking your whole life. So, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not getting any money, fame, glory. I'm actually putting myself at a huge disadvantage. A lot of people get upset at me. And sure, I do get a little tickle when people get upset. So, I'm biased. Might be offensive just to get a rise out of people because it's funny to me. You know, sorry, that's who I am. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. Okay. Today I wanted to talk about the climax of Christianity, the resurrection story, the crucifix, the 3 days in the tomb, and Easter Sunday when something happened. We're not really sure what because each of the Gospels disagree, but it's like the key moment of Christianity. It's what proves Jesus is God. So I'd like to ask you Christians to take a moment and just think about it. Would you still be Christian? Would you believe Jesus was the Son of God if the resurrection was bullshit? You can say yes, you can say no. Either way is fine. Just know in your heart which one the answer is, because I think as we go through this, you're going to realize the resurrection is bullshit. Okay. Let's start with the whole proof. What is the whole proof? It's some women, one or multiple, depending on which gospel we look at, went to the tomb where there was like a stone rolled in place to preserve Jesus's dead body. And there's varying accounts of what happened. That part, I guess, is the same across all four Gospels. Either one or multiple women went to the tomb. Here's where it starts branching. Was the tomb open when they got there? So, in one story, Matthew, the tomb was closed, the women arrived, and the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled the stone back. So they saw it happen. They came to the tomb, it was closed, and then the Lord came down and they saw it happen, and somehow they recounted that story to Matthew and he wrote it down later. We all know that's bullshit because it got written down years later. But anyways, that's what's in the story. The other three Gospels say that the stone was already open when they arrived. So in Mark, the women entered the sepulcher, which means tomb, and they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were frightened. In Luke, the women entered, but they didn't find the body of Lord Jesus. They were very perplexed, and behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments. Maybe they're angels, maybe they're not. I don't know. That's another one of the debates is, well, not debates, but disagreements amongst the Gospels, is whether these were people or angels. I guess God doesn't know the difference, but okay. And then in John, Mary stood outside the sepulcher weeping. Okay, in John, it's weird because Mary Magdalene arrived alone, saw the stone was rolled back. She didn't go inside, though. She went and told Simon Peter and the other disciple that God loved. I guess he forgot his name because God's very forgetful in the Bible. But anyways, and then they all 3 came to the tomb. The men went inside, saw that Jesus was gone, but his garments were there, and then they left. But Mary stayed there, and she was crying, and then poof, all of a sudden 2 angels were inside. One sitting where Jesus' head had been, and the other sitting where Jesus' feet had been. And then a few seconds later, poof, Jesus himself is there, but he doesn't look like Jesus. Mary doesn't recognize him. Anyways, all right, let's go on to some of the other contradictions, because those are a little silly. Okay, I mean, this is silly too, but you would think God, all-knowing, all-powerful, influencing the Bible being written, would get his facts right. But in Mark, when the women enter the sepulcher, they saw one young man sitting on the right side of where Jesus had been laying. In John, there's 2 angels sitting where Jesus' body had been. And then in Luke, 2 men were standing inside the sepulcher. So, I mean, it's a small distinction, but are they sitting or standing? This is the climax. This is the most glorious moment of Christianity, and they can't even get the basic story right. So, come on, guys. All right. Whom did the women see in the tomb? Matthew, it's an angel. Mark, it's a young man. Luke, it's 2 men. John, it's 2 angels. And then we already went over, was it opened or closed? Like, they all disagree. So, what does this mean? It means you can't trust the Bible. That should be obvious already, but yeah, it disagrees with itself even at the most critical moments. So, sure, there are good lessons to be learned in there, just like in Walden, just like in my book, just like in, I don't know, Harry Potter. You know, there's good lessons to be learned in books all over the place, and I encourage you all to read as many books as possible. But think for yourself and try to figure out what's true, what's not, what's a good idea, what's not a good idea. None of these books are divinely inspired. Either that or they're all divinely inspired, but we have to, like, take that with a grain of salt, because it doesn't mean they're 100% true. It just means, yeah, God is the universe. The universe created all the books, so therefore they're all divinely inspired. Like, no big deal. But, yeah, the Bible isn't special. Sorry, guys. You ought to stop believing it.